Hello, this is Sarah Brosh. Welcome back to my channel. So I want to do a video about Richard Painter, and I will probably do a number of videos about Richard Painter because he continues his now more than 4-month campaign, Twitter campaign to drive me to suicide and to destroy what's left of my life. I'm gonna try not to cry. I literally just can't take any more abuse. I don't know how much more strength I have left, but I know that I have to stay strong because this is what Richard Painter wants. He wants to silence me. He wants me dead. He wants to drive me to suicide because I am the proof that he is a bigot, a charlatan, a fraud. I am the reason why his potential run for Minnesota governor is now DOA. And Richard Painter did this to himself. He is destroying his own political career. He is destroying his own professional reputation. He is completely unfit for public office. He has spent the better part of the past 4 months abusing and terrorizing an already traumatized and vulnerable and suicidal woman on Twitter. I don't know if Richard Painter has a friend in the world. I can imagine that he doesn't, based on his personality. But if he does, they need to intervene and they need to stop him. He is destroying himself. The whole world can see what he's doing. And all I am doing is publicly documenting his campaign against me. He is trying to drive me to suicide via woke KKK cancel culture and trial by Twitter without due process. And the whole world knows that he began viciously and relentlessly attacking me in mid-September 2021. And he started attacking me because he had some delusional and obsessive personal vendetta against Brian Leiter, who is a University of Chicago law and philosophy professor. Now, Brian has been amazing to me and has stood steadfastly by my side throughout this almost 4-year hellish nightmare that I've been living in as a result of the perfectly obvious living or not being well black hate crime hoax at Yale. But so basically, the only reason why Richard Painter began attacking me in mid-September 2021 is because he was exploiting me and using me as a proxy to attack Brian Leiter because of his delusional and obsessive personal vendetta against Brian Leiter. So now Richard Painter has developed a delusional and obsessive personal vendetta against me because I am the reason why he will never be elected governor of Minnesota after what he did to me. So he's trying to just basically bury me and trying to, frame me as he constantly compares me to murderers and terrorists. So just to give like the quick highlights of everything that Richard Painter has done to me in the past 4 months, as part of his campaign to destroy what's left of my life, what semblance of a life I have left, and to drive me to suicide and to incite my murder. So Richard Painter has threatened to swat me. He threatened to call the police and tell them that I had guns and that I intended to use them, which is something that has happened to me repeatedly during the past almost 4 years of this hellish nightmare that I've been living in. Richard Painter threatened to report me to the bar. Richard Painter threatened to prosecute me for fraud and report me for fraud. Richard Painter threatened to have Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison prosecute me for fraud. And I'm pretty sure that Keith Ellison told Richard Painter to keep his name out of Painter's mouth. and that I'm sure Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison has zero interest in helping Richard Painter abuse and terrorize traumatized and vulnerable and suicidal women on Twitter. So I'm pretty sure that happened. Richard Painter defamed me in an MSNBC op-ed attacking my GoFundMe fundraiser. He has repeatedly attacked my social media sites and in particular my fundraising sites, and especially GoFundMe. He has incited waves of death threats sending mobs against me. He has incited all of his goons to attack me, to wage campaigns to get me fired, to contact my employers, to wage campaigns to get me disbarred, to contact the Nevada and New York state bars. One of his goons reported me to the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, if you can believe it. They've repeatedly attacked my GoFundMe. GoFundMe has been amazing to me and has repeatedly rebuffed the attacks by Richard Painter and his goons against my GoFundMe fundraiser, because they know that my GoFundMe fundraiser is the antithesis of a fraud, and they know that I am a true whistleblower speaking real truth to power. Richard Painter tried to lynch me on Thanksgiving and Christmas. He hit both of the major holidays. And he did this, and this was according to the NAACP's definition of a lynching as a public killing without due process. Richard Painter was initially inspired by the USA Today editorial board's attempt to lynch me on Thanksgiving, and by in trying to incite someone to shoot and kill me by comparing me to Ahmaud Arbery's killers. And Richard Painter did the same thing. He also compared me to Ahmaud Arbery's killers. He has repeatedly compared me to a number of murderers and terrorists to try to incite someone to shoot and kill me. And it's just incredible to me. It doesn't even stop there. Richard Painter went on to suggest that I was involved in the January 6th Capitol riot. He has most recently been comparing me to the Texas synagogue hostage taker, that horrible, horrific incident that just occurred. And he's just not going to stop. Richard Painter is not going to stop attacking me until I'm dead. He's not going to stop attacking me until I'm dead. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm in a state of shock. It is mind-boggling that any grown man would behave this way, but especially someone who is a law professor and someone who claims to want to be governor of Minnesota. It is literally insane that he is doing this. I have repeatedly begged Richard Painter to stop trying to drive me to suicide. I've begged him to stop repeatedly, and he won't. He's not going to stop. He is a woke KKK monster and a Twitter menace. He is a woke KK monster, and this is a perfectly apt moniker to describe Richard Painter, because he is trying to get me killed over a almost 4-year-old non-event and non-crime at Yale. And a point I want to make clear, I don't want this video to get too long. I'm shaking because I'm upset, sorry. I don't want this video to get too long because I just don't want it to get too long. I'll make many more videos, but the one point in particular that I want to make is this. It doesn't matter if, so Richard Painter's trying to frame this as accountability and consequences for my allegedly racist actions at Yale almost 4 years ago. Okay, so despite the fact that, not to even mention the fact that we're talking about something, a non-event and a non-crime that happened almost 4 years ago, even if you think I did something racist, even if Richard Painter insists on saying that I did something racist almost 4 years ago. We're talking about a non-crime almost 4 years ago. And I have been punished enough. And I don't know what Richard Painter wants. I lost everything. I'm lucky to be alive. I had to go into hiding for more than 3 years. I was deluged by death and rape threats. I was deluged by waves and waves of social media mobbings near to suicide, especially on Twitter, and in particular by Twitter's blue checkmark public figures like Richard Painter. I lost my lifelong human and civil rights, academic and legal careers. I lost my livelihood. I lost my reputation. I'm lucky to be alive. I just barely was able to get this job and stay off the streets, the job that I have now, which I love. But I'm massively underemployed. I lost everything. I lost everything. People are still trying to get me disbarred. They're trying to get me fired from my, low-paying remote job, which is saving families with kids from eviction. That's my job. And I also have a second job. Still, I'm working a little bit for the legal aid center, and I steal people's criminal records so that they can rebuild their lives. I file people's bankruptcies. I do name changes for trans persons. I serve the low-income population. I especially serve minority populations, and people are not satisfied that I even have this, even though it's low paying and I'm massively underemployed. People are not satisfied with this. They just want me dead. They want me to starve to death on the streets. And there are campaigns, waves and waves of campaigns even now. Right now, the last 4 months of my life has been an absolute hellish nightmare. And it's almost entirely because of Richard Painter and all of the goons that he has incited, and all of the mobbings that he has incited, and all of the campaigns against me that he has incited. And I'm terrified still that I'm going to end up on the streets and starving to death. I'm terrified that my abusive and deranged stalkers, especially on Twitter, are going to find a way to get me fired, to get me disbarred, to get me kicked off my other social media and fundraising sites, even though everyone besides Twitter has stuck with me. So I'm just like, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm in a state of shock, and I'm trying desperately to get home to Minnesota to my sister so I don't have to be so terrified all the time that my abusive and deranged stalkers are going to find a way to destroy what semblance of a life I have left and get me fired or disbarred so that I end up starving to death on the streets. I'm terrified. I'm terrified. I have nothing. What does Richard Painter want? What does he want? Does he just want to see my dead and naked body hung up in a square in DC? A public square in DC? Will that finally satisfy him? Will he finally stop terrorizing me, trying to ruin me, trying to drive me to suicide? I can't take anymore. I honestly I don't know what to do anymore. He's not going to stop. He's not going to stop until I'm dead, because I'm the proof that he is a bigot, a charlatan, and a fraud. I am the proof that he is a woke KKK monster and Twitter menace, and he is never going to be elected by the good people of Minnesota after what he did to me. And I don't know what to do anymore. I don't want this video to get too long. I love you all so much, and I will have all of my fundraising links below. Please donate to me so that we can stop the Richard Painters from destroying any more innocent lives and driving any more innocent people to suicide. Okay, I will talk to you later.